Amigos, we are away, just trying a different format again. Let's talk Tesla. As you know, SpaceX launched their big rocket today and they caught it. And I'm happy for SpaceX, especially when they get rid of Elon Musk and Chabad Lubavitch and all the Israeli connections. And that's what we're going to talk about today. What is today's date? Today's date is the 13th of October, 2024 at 6:29 p.m. And I am running entirely on solar. All my lights, all the laptop and the screen is all running on solar. Simple solar panel, a 5,000 peso, 300 US dollar battery, and voila. Cheap as chips, you can add to them very easily, and it's very easy to do. I urge you, please, prep a little. You don't have to be a crazy prepper, but crazy prepping can be fun. I'd love to do it. I'd have bunkers with machine guns and everything. God bless America. But please, just get a solar panel, get your rice and your beans and all your other stuff in a bit of water, please. I still know people that have got nothing. That's local. Let's talk Elon Musk. But here, if you didn't know, is that's not too loud. Let's turn that down a little there. Whoa, easy, Tiger. How are we doing there? That's better. Sorry, yeah, I'm getting the sound use. I blame the Jews, the Jesuits, the lizards, everybody, but it was actually a bad setting on my behalf. Fancy that? Let's watch a little bit of this. I mean, I would love to see one of these.
T minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This would just be awesome.
We have liftoff. Vehicles pitching downrange.
That would be a sight to behold. Big phallus in the space.
Surrender chamber pressure nominal.
Anyway, you get the drift.
30
out and see
Down it comes.
one of these Starship launches in person. It must be incredible.
And I think we're seeing images now of Starship itself, which of course is Earth.
This is pretty awesome.
How fast this vehicle is moving.
This is DARPA
on
30
the
years ago.
left-hand landing burn.
13
ignited. We're now down to 3 Raptor engines. We can see those chopsticks now in the air.
And even I was cheering. Wow. Even I was cheering, like, F Elon Musk, and we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about the history of the Silvermaster spy group. God bless America. You guys keep up the great work, but, NASA could have done this themselves. This is all handed. We're going to talk about the old spy rings, and we got to show them exactly who created Elon Musk, who put him in Tony Stark and Iron Man 3, who put him in for a guest appearance. Let me guess, Arnold Milchan's network, Benjamin Netanyahu's network, this network. I'll read from this. This is just a post I just made. I want to put it all together so you understand that work of Diana West and others, and the work of people who exposed this 100-year, 1917 on and before that, complete and total and utter infiltration of the US body politic, the US education system, the US economy, everything. They have completely infiltrated. We call them communists in Armani suits. Isn't that right, Heinz Kissinger, George Soros? I don't hate SpaceX and getting to space. I just ask why a Kushner Chabad Israeli Kissinger foreign asset is allegedly heading it. All the staff were poached from NASA. The tech is all DARPA from 30 years ago, and it is literally. As Bill Binney told us many years ago, they have privatized technology that was being done well, carefully, and under public scrutiny at places like the NSA and NASA. Then they give it to the clowns who then hand it to, the Israeli Space Agency. And I'm not against the Israeli Space Agency having a hand in technology, but certainly not the super duper high tech stuff, and certainly nothing to do with the military policing and surveillance. They can do med tech, they can do agriculture, they can do all sorts of other things. They then charge 5 times as much. The head of NASA gave SpaceX contracts worth billions, then she gets a job at SpaceX. Outrage? Nada. Kathy Leaders is her name. Watch the above video series to see just what Musk and SpaceX are getting away with in full public view. Billions have been handed over and they have virtually nothing. There's no lunar lander done, nada. Musk promised over and over to be on Mars by now, but, you know, this is Musk. How is he getting away with it? Everything that comes out of his mouth is bullshit. There he is with the Saudis and Jared Kushner organising the funding of the Beast System X app, ready for the brain chip and all the other stuff. I mean, Trump's lost his mind. Clearly, Chabad have him by the balls. That's all I can say. Now, we're going to tell you a narrative about the whole run-up to 9/11 and what was meant to happen and how filthy rich Tesla and Musk was meant to be. But with the end of the multipolar world order and the end of China, that was the end of Musk. So this is the fallout. This is all the repositioning. I'll repeat for you. This is the fallout and the repositioning at the end of the multipolar world order, Primakov Doctrine, Kissinger, Soros, and City of London. So we'll get into a narrative of when Obama hands over NASA basically to Musk, and eventually this will be a voiceover and it will be on YouTube. Head of NASA hands moon mission contract to SpaceX, then gets a job with Musk post-retirement. Nothing to see here. Be quiet. Men think they're women. And, you know, people are getting paid $100,000 a week to talk about how bad Ukraine is. Now, who has the power to keep this Jewish day school kid from South Africa? Admittedly, he went to a Jewish day school. Let me tell you something. You can't go to a Jewish day school unless you identify and are accepted as Jewish. Pretty simple. The South African Jews are all over Western Australia, and the US in the spotlight, losing billions, ripping off billions in an almost total fraud that leaves Elizabeth Holmes as a rank amateur. Old Elon hanging with his friend, baby. Who is putting Musk in an Iron Man blockbuster movie when he is a well-known King Klown loser? I mean, he was a loser. A loser. This was back in, what, 2005? It's as if the sociopathic lie was being groomed long-term for something. Oh, I don't know, Netanyahu and Hollywood producer and Israeli spy Arnon Milchan. What is this network that takes over blue-chip American companies and steals US technology paid for by US taxpayers? There is no other issue. Then this is the issue. It is the only issue. And it goes all the way back into COVID. It always go back into Fauci and Epstein and the dozens of sex rings and Israeli intel, all the rest. Microsoft is Israeli almost as much as it is American. Jerusalem Post, 2008. What a magic year 2008 was. Microsoft CEO Steve Ballmer in Israel to inaugurate its new R&D center. Do you think Steve Ballmer went to Epstein Island with Bill Gates? Ballmer's a nutcase. Do you want to see Steve Ballmer off his head on cocaine? Watch this.
Developers, 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 developers. Developers, 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 developers.
Here's trolley.
Developers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to see him here? Oh, it gets better. Come on now. Come on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Ballmer!
Come on! Get up! Get up! Come on! Come on! Give it up for me! Come on! Who said sit down? I have 4 words for you. I love this company. Yes!
Okie dokie, massive sound problems. You've just missed out on 20 minutes of me messing with that. That's Steve Ballmer. Microsoft, former head. Now, do you think that behavior off his head? Okay, completely off his head on cocaine. I'm having major sound problems. Okay, okay. Let's just leave it at that. Oh, it's going to work now.
Ladies,
Yeah, I couldn't get anything to work. I had to download the video. Anyway, that's cocaine. Do you think that might have something to do with this? Microsoft is an Israeli. Do you reckon he attended an Israeli-run party? Cocaine, hookers. Did he go for a nice trip to Israel and meet some hot 19-year-old secretaries, or were they 14-year-olds, males or females? There's Steve Ballmer. I'd say Ballmer would be a coke and hooker boy. He'd be a good all-American, straight up and down, screwing everything over 18, without question. Do you think that might have something to do with Steve Ballmer running around clearly off his head on cocaine? 100% off his head on cocaine. Do you think Intel's CEO would think of ourselves as an Israeli company as much as a US company? I just want to say that it will be centered here in Jerusalem. Do you think that might have something to do with all your problems at the moment, America? Imagine the fact that I am literally the only person who will tell you this. I'm sure there's someone out there somewhere. I've made these beautiful little pictures and I put Jerusalem Posts with the dates and we put them everywhere. No one will repeat them. Whitney Webb, the James Corbetts of the world won't breathe a word. This looks familiar. Who's that, everybody? Look, it's Bibi and Vlad and Kissinger and Bibi and Kissinger and Vlad and Kissinger and Xi and Rothchild and Heinz. And there's Lord Jakob and Bibi. Oh, my goodness. Maybe Whitney will tell us something. This is the Silvermaster spy ring all over again and again and again and again and again. They have been deeply penetrated into the United States political, economic, and educational fabric for 100 plus years. So you're waiting for Bibi and Co. to lie down and say, sorry, I promise to be good. I really do promise to be good. Window plus gravity equals the only solution. Some would say the final solution. The Silvermaster Group was a major Soviet espionage organization that operated within the United States government during World War II, was investigated. I've said it 1,000 times, I'm going to keep repeating it. It was investigated by the FBI spanning the years 1945 through 1959. Nathan Gregory Silvermaster was the leader of the spy ring, which consisted of 27 principal KGB operatives gathering information from at least 6 federal agencies. Who was the head? Nathan Gregory Silvermaster, Chief Planning Technician, Procurement Division, United States Department of the Treasury, Chief Economist, War Assets Administration, Director of the Labor Division, Farm Security Administration, Board of Economic Warfare, Reconstruction Finance Corporation, Department of Commerce. Nathan Gregory Silvermaster. Let's get his picture up. There he is. I'll keep talking about it. This information is the most important information you could ever possibly get across to everyone. Where was Nathan Gregory Silvermaster born? And do you think his real name is Silvermaster? Have a think. Gold, stone, diamond, silver, Silvermaster. Now, where was Nathan Gregory Silvermaster born? He was born in China. That's right, born in China. And he developed, while in China, a perfect English accent before coming to the United States. This should be a movie. This should be in documentaries, in books. It should be all over the internet. I have carped on this for 15 freaking years, on the record, all over the internet, over and over again. This is the forerunner to the Jonathan Pollards, to all the spy networks you see today. The complete infiltration. They've all changed their names. Harry Dexter White, Lithuanian Jews, a direct advisor to the damn Roosevelt administration, literally Roosevelt's most trusted advisor. He forms the International Monetary Fund, and he's the one that helped create communist China, and then under Mao, and then along comes Kissinger and Co. and Morgenthau. Same group, same, identical. They're everywhere. There you go. Develops a perfect English accent. Gee, you'd think maybe Whitney Webb, the great journalist, would do something on it, because she got all this information. There was Helen Silvermaster, his wife. Shlomo Adler, United States Department of the Treasury. And if you go down here, who's down here? We've got CCC Chairman Mao Zedong with Israel Epstein. There's Israel Epstein. Anna Louise Strong. She was a lesbian who was having a licking competition. Sorry, I'm being rude and crude. Sorry about that. Who was having an affair with Roosevelt's bisexual wife. Frank Coe, second from the right there, and Solomon Adler right there. Oh, they just happen to be most of Roosevelt's war cabinet. Oh, kind of reminds me of Donald Trump's problem with Chabad Lubavitch and a whole bunch of people. Norman Chandler Burslar, United States Department of Justice, anti-trench event, Frank Carr. Anyway, you can read that yourself. Highest levels. Look at Lachlan Curry, famous, infamous, involved with Richard Nixon exposing him. Administrative assistant to President Roosevelt, deputy administrator of foreign economic administration. These were Soviet KGB spies. This is City of London, Bella Gold, Sonia Steinman Gold, Irving Kaplan, George Silverman. Have a look at where they worked. Harry Dexter White, for crying out loud, Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, head of the International Monetary Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, see that? Look familiar? In the end, SpaceX caught the booster in its chopstick arms. Amazing, exciting, wonderful stuff. Now, Elon Musk, window gravity, Kushner, any order will do. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you stuff and we're just, this is profound information. I've just barfed on it for, the reason I keep repeating, people say, no, keep repeating it, Brendan, get it across to people. You've got to understand this system at the highest levels, and it's just all brushed over. And they said to the great Saint Joseph McCarthy, the legend McCarthy, oh, he's a bit of a drunk. He was right. Where's the revisionist movement? McCarthy was right. The Venona decrypts, where he said, we're infiltrated. They're everywhere. And they said, oh, Red's under the bed. Red's under the bed. Oh, he's completely insane. Completely insane. Well, is he completely insane? Have you noticed what's coming out now? How big this is? Mary Silver up there in Seattle, Lee's work. I just did a live stream just playing his stuff. What's it going to take? Are they going to pay the Israeli-Russian mafia, going to pay more drug money, Bitcoin, to people like frickin' Tim Pool? These are people are traitors. They should be executed. I'm not joking. Until some people start getting executed, I don't think anything's going to stop. I don't know. You tell me. What are the ramifications for all this? Do you remember COVID? Do you remember COVID? We've all forgotten COVID. I sat there in stunned amazement at what was going on in my home country, Australia. I couldn't believe it. Lucky I was in Mexico. No one gave a shit. It was great. Cops didn't give a crap. Don't know how long COVID Mark II, how well it'll go down this time with all the cameras all over the damn country, but we're hoping the great Mexican I don't give a shit attitude shines through again. But with our Presidente Claudia Sheinbaum, I believe in science. Ugh. Soros and Clinton Foundation, I'm not crossing my fingers in the Kol Nidre prayer in hope and anxiety. But this is the essence. So when that is all linked with, guess what? It's all linked with that. Do you remember NASA? Do you remember how NASA, while Russia put up rocket after rocket, I'm giving you gold here, gold stuff, worked it all out all by my little self. And they were just crashing and blowing up. Do you think it's because the same spying like Silvermaster was all through NASA and continues to this day, all through NASA? Now they say, oh, NASA's incompetent. NASA can't. NASA's terrible. We need private stuff. We need private corporations. And who runs all the fucking companies? They're all affiliated with Kissinger and Associates and Soros and the whole range, all linked back into Israel, and we're City of London. Because it's a closed shop at the old Bill Binney NSA. You've got to be part of the family to get in there. That's hard to penetrate. So let's subcontract it out, pay 5 times as much, spread all the taxpayer funds all over the damn country, all the way back into Israel, all the way back into China. We'll rob the Department of Defense blind via the Pentagon budget, and we will just run amok, a golden calf, and we'll suck it dry, and we'll do it again and again and again and again, as BB said. And I'm not sure when Americans are going to have enough. I'm not sure when you're going to get angry at Alex Jones who says, bullhorn the White House, shake a fist, get angry, buy my dick pills. And Tim Pool selling coffee mugs and T-shirts, making, how many? $1 million a month by the time you add up all his income? 400,000 alone from the Ruskies, which is Israel. Fancy that. What's he just going to do? Just suddenly change his tune when the heat gets too much, re-tack his sails, and suddenly he's catching the wind. Oh, yes, Israel. Oh, it's terrible. And he'll be saying, oh, you're a legend, Tim. You're amazing. We need this man. Well, he might be killed. He's a genius. And, with the rest of us are fucked. I mean, I always remember the stories from the Second World War where, Waffen-SS divisions and Großdeutschland, some of the major elite divisions of the German army would get in and just have these horrendous battles with the Soviets. And they'd all be half dead and wounded and being reconstituted, and in would come the golden pheasants, the rear echelon troops, the gulatiers, raping, pillaging their way across the country, robbing it blind in their golden pheasant suits, and there's the poor soldiers completely exhausted. That's what I feel like. We've just exhausted ourselves, we drive ourselves, so what these little effers can just, I'm not having it. My life is dedicated to going after these people physically. And when I say physically, I mean as a journalist, I'm going to get in their faces. They step outside the United States, I'm going to fucking find them. I absolutely promise you. Somebody has to start the process of going after these people. They cannot, every time, they will be so terrified they will not attend a Bitcoin conference because they're going to get either a punch in the face, not that I'm advocating it, or they're going to get cheesecake in their face. Not before I eat half of it because I love cheesecake. These people should not be running around, oh, I'll attend a conference at Acapulco with Jeff Berwick, the anal cocaine-carrying drug mule piece of shit. They should be terrified. Oh, fuck, I don't want to do it. We're going to have O'Connell and 50 of his friends down here throwing cheesecake in our face. These people, no fucking consequence. Everyone's just sitting around, isolated in their echo chamber, jerking off. I mean, it's selling coffee mugs and T-shirts. So when you see that, amazing as it is, that'll all be heading on over, and you know it. Let's just watch this crap. Elon Musk and the Optimus robot. I might add that after this presentation, they dropped 8% because everyone's heard this shit before.
Everything we've
basically saying, here's all these new trucks. It's all fake. None of it's ready. It's not even, it's a joke. It's never happening. None of it is happening. All right. Let me tell you something that is cast in stone. It is illegal to do self-driving. It's illegal. You can't have full self-driving. It is illegal. It is a fact in the legislation and in the code books of the Transport Association, all the rest. It says there will be no full self-driving until there are sensors in the road at every intersection, and every single vehicle is GPS tracked with 28 gigahertz high frequency 5G. Until that time, there will never be full self-driving. Never. It's not going to happen. It's fake. Why are they doing it then? They're doing this stuff for object recognition, avoidance, and AI. When they roll out the military and policing drones, whether they're flying, floating, under the sea, or driving on the road on wheels or tracks. That's what it's for. It's Department of Defense. That's what it's all for. Full self-driving is highly illegal. And normally, Elon Musk would be in jail for fraud, criminal negligence, and resulting in death. That's what would happen. But it doesn't happen. He could literally rape a dog in the middle of the street and people would call him a genius. Who's running this? It's the same people who do the pro-Putin stuff, the same people doing the pro-Musk stuff. Have you ever seen these investor cults, these investor fans, like the GameStop and all the rest? It's the same people, all right, with the same groupies, with the same psychological warfare operation. Basically, Musk loses $1 billion and suddenly these bots filling every comment. Oh, Musk is a genius. It's part of his cunning plot. Trust the plan. It's 5TGS. Where do they come from? It's fucking AI and it's bots. And there's just a big, huge bunch of clowns, all right, useful idiots pushing it. This is the same network as the Silvermaster spying. Kissinger and Associates, Morgenthau, all the old crowd. It's the same people. Listen to this shit.
developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot.
Oh, lie. It's all a lie, Dojo supercomputers. He's like, all right, he's like 1/7 the size of Google. And he's claiming he's got the, it's just lies continuously exit his mouth every minute of every day with his little robot.
And we've made a lot of progress with Optimus.
What? And he wouldn't, and they asked straight up, do you have people operating these robots and doing the voices and responding to people? No comment. Everything is a lie. Everything associated with Elon Musk is a lie. The only slightly successful thing is Falcon Heavy Lift. That's the only thing making a real profit. Falcon Heavy Lift, and Starlink is just breaking even. That's all Department of Defense stuff. It's been handed to him. Then they write memoirs. He's a genius. He's on. This is the grooming, right? And let me give you the narrative. Look, I actually have to go. I've got interviews in Mexico City. Guess what I'm doing? So I have to run and basically get ready to jump on a bus tomorrow. So I'm going to cut this short. Let me give you the narrative. This is the narrative. Let's go back to here. Let me give you this narrative. What was meant to happen? All this stuff here, all this shifting of the technology, Elon Musk sitting there. Let me give you the narrative, especially here with Obama. Especially here. Here's the plan. Here was the plan. Let me get my favorite picture up. Look very closely at that picture. We've got the bunting cloverleaf map with Israel at the center of the Eurasian landmass. We've got the Odiginon plan. We've got 9/11, and we've got the three beneficiaries who were forming under Yevgeny Primakov, the Primakov Doctrine, and the multipolar world order, which is all Kissinger, Soros, and of course, who else? Multipolar world order, Lord Jacob Rothschild himself, City of London, and the network. Macron, Klown, who worked for Rothschild for 5 years, Evelyn de Rothschild. And we have Gerhard Schroeder, best friend of Vladimir Putin. He's worked for Rothschild. All of them are Rothschild. All of them. They're all best friends with Klaus Schwab, who was mentored by Kissinger. Whitney Webb forgot to tell you. So after 9/11, let's start at 9/11. Let me explain what that picture is. And you know whose picture that truly is? That is Joseph Davies, the nephew of Fred Smith. He suggested this picture to me and I said, I have to think about it because you might be drawing a long bow. Mission almost accomplished. And I thought about it for 24 hours and said, yep, I'd say you're right. That's Fred Smith, Skull and Bones, best friend of George W. Bush. Fred Smith might not be a bad guy. I don't know. I don't know. I just know they're all his friends. Big Dick Cheney, George W. Bush. Could they be that stupid? It's possible. Project for the New American Century, securing the realm. Gee, who got shafted in the butt? Who got shafted in the butt? I don't know, America, but these are the narratives that have to be teased out in all their detail. And if we had a real fucking internet like we used to have in 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, which is a very interesting year, then it would be teased out by now. There's a few kinks in the armor, but let's start at 9/11. Now, we've seen the Silvermaster spy rings, everything's shifting up. Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation, legislating technology transfer. Why? To use US taxpayer under the War Powers Act and all the money with official enemies to justify giant taxpayer a socialist handout to private industry. It'll all go back to the City of London and the big hedge funds. All the way back, BlackRock, State Street, all the big hedge fund operators, it all goes back to the City of London and use taxpayer funded with their artificial enemies constructed. You fund your enemies, then the military industrial complex. Oh my goodness. Oh hell, Russia's got a new bomb, which we gave them to keep the military industrial complex circle of happiness in a circle. And you then use that taxpayer-funded technology in the greatest socialist handout in history to what? To then develop the high technology that will ultimately enslave us all. Robots and drones. That's Elon Musk. What was meant to happen was this. First, we have 9/11. It goes back further, obviously, but let's keep it simple. So 9/11 happens. This then justifies the local population to get behind wars. And then they had the narrative of wars for oil. And that was about Odiginon, translated by the great Professor Israel Shahak in Israel. He translated it from Hebrew for us all. Professor Israel Shahak also wrote several books, but the most brilliant is Jewish History, Jewish Religion, The Weight of 3,000 Years. He gives the whole game away. What's going on? Professor Israel Shahak, where did he live? He was a real Jew, Sephardic Jew, came to Israel when he was 18 years old from the Eastern Bloc, was disgusted by what he saw. A true Israelite. He lived his whole life in Israel. He was a professor at Bar Ilan University, professor of chemistry. Now, I'll do a proper video on him because the man is a legend and we need to get his name out there so people remember his name, the Bill Coopers, the Kay Griggs, the Myron Fagans, the Reverend Ted Pikes, the Bill Stills, all the great old stuff. We've got to keep their names out there. But Professor Israel Shahak lived till 72, 73, died of the complications of diabetes, lived his whole life in Israel. So do you understand when I said I was going to Israel, I wasn't joking? You think Israel is just this big homogenous podge of the same people? You are very, very wrong. The only thing that keeps Israel together is the War Powers Act and being surrounded by enemies that Likud and the City of London fund to keep local populations in line, whether they be Arab or Jew or pretend Russian fucking Jews. That's the complexities of the state of Israel. It's not what you think. And unfortunately, people have a very simplistic view. That's why the Israeli press is screaming about this. So the great Professor Israel Shahak translates Ode Janon for us, a great gift. We used to talk about it all the time online, and then after 2008, it was just getting edged out, because men think they're women, and they brought up all the new psychological warfare programming. So in 2001, we have George W. Bush sitting with a certain allegedly Jewish exile, if you care to remember. You know, this Machiavellian German refugee Kissinger shaped US policy with Jewish philosophy. That's not from a white nationalist site. That's from the Times of Israel. The Inevitability of Tragedy, which is a great book. I listened to the audio. You should get it. Shows how the abidingly influential ex-Secretary of State strategies were shaped by families escaped from Nazis and by German Jewish intellectuals. This is September 2020. There is a George W. Bush. That was in 2008. And that's the network. So remember that picture. So we have Ode Janon, we have the beginnings of the reshaping of the Middle East for what? For the multipolar world order. Ode Janon, Bunting Cloverleaf Map, Belt and Road Initiative, and of course you've got Bibi saying we're going to unite Israeli high technology with Chinese capacity or manufacturing capacity. And you see Lee doing his great work out on the streets informing people of this. So when we see the Machiavellian, allegedly German Jewish refugee, Heinz Kissinger, the right hand of, this guy, perhaps you've heard of him. The right hand, 9/11 happens, justifying that project for the new American century, securing the realm, Ode Janon. The New World Order coming into view, George Bush Sr. before raping several small children with Big Dick. And it's a big one, Big Dick Cheney. Now you got Liz Cheney hooking up with Kamala. Gee, Lord. Arrest them. Somebody. So 2001, you're beginning to see the breakup of pan-Arab nationalism, which was the goal in Iraq. And the plan was for dummy Americans who were going to sit in the Bunting Cloverleaf Map. And maybe that's what they told Big Dick and the gang. You will dominate the region, because that's what I'm asking for right now when they come ashore at Gaza. For that exact same process. But someone got suckered big time. Let's sift through this narrative. Not that I want to like Big Dick Cheney and the gang, but I'm just trying to get the narrative right. So help me along here. I'll take all the glory, make a video, and accept the Academy Awards. And hopefully not call you a bunch of CNTs. I'm getting better. So you have the beginnings of Ode Janon. And I'm sure America was going to have permanent bases there, but they didn't. They went in there, they smashed the place to pieces. Now, who was running Iraq? None other than Paul Bremer, the 2IC at Kissinger and Associates. I've done it in the video I just uploaded, the old one, a family civil war. Paul Bremer, 2IC of Kissinger and Associates. Oh, fancy that. He sets Iraq on fire. He says, I'm going to sack all the Ba'ath Party, even the Pentagon generals, including Flynn, which is why I kind of liked Flynn at first until I realized what he was doing. Said, you can't do that. If you sack the Ba'ath Party, you will create a civil war between Sunni and Shia. Iran will move into the region, and it's going to be chaos. We need the Sunni. You are mad. We have to keep the basic system alive to maintain the order. I know for a fact from Special Forces people who were in Baghdad, having tea with Republican Guard generals 3 months before the invasion of Iraq. 3 months in 2003. 3 months before, having tea. It was all organized. All organized. The same system was going to be in basic place. They would have some bases, the US would have some bases there, and everyone would be happy, as happy as you can be in that situation. Along comes Paul Bremer, just happens to be the 2IC at Kissinger and Associates with a whole host of neocon pieces of garbage. Nope. We're going to sack the Ba'ath Party, and lo and behold, a freaking great insurgency starts and massive civilian casualties and military casualties. But the civilian casualties are like 10 times, 20 times higher. And there you go. They set Iraq on fire. deliberately. Then you see the flow-ons with Libya, the flow-ons with Syria. Now the flow-ons you see in Gaza, and you're going to see in the West Bank, and you're seeing in Lebanon. This is a continuation of this program. It's not going very well for them, but this is a continuation. But the system is being wound up. The Islamic terrorist system, which is run by Israel's City of London, is being wound up. So you see that process set the place on fire. Allow Iran into the region. Who's Rouhani? They're all friends with Jack Straw and Lord Levi. They're all hanging out in Scotland, you know, home of the Scottish Jews, in the Scottish universities up there for 6 years, hanging with Jack Straw and Lord Levi. That's one step away from Lord Jacob Rothchild himself. You know, we put it everywhere. You know where I actually got that info from? I'm ashamed to say it. At least it wasn't David Icke. You know, it was Bob Foote. Freaking what's his face? Oh, geez, I can't even remember his name. That fucking idiot. But that's where he had it. He put it up once and he deleted it, but I got hold of all that info. It was even on the BBC. Rouhani, 6 years in Scotland. They're all hanging out with Zarif. I was hanging out with friends of his family, and we were, they're all off to the Royal Institute for International Affairs in Chatham House. You can't make this shit up. Seriously, you can't make it up. It's right there. I saw it when I was in Iran. I'm just going, this is all fucking fraud. It's correct. That's why he came out of a Paris commune, Ayatollah Khomeini. Then at the same time, you kill off King Faisal, the good King Faisal, who was trying to defend the Palestinians, the last of the real Arab sheikhs. He was killed by his coked up Kissinger and Associates Angel of Death nephew. And lo and behold, we get one whore effing pieces of cocaine snorting garbage Wahhabist after another. Then Iran has their Shia equivalent. This is how you set up the theocratic system of control. They make sure they put all their money in the certain banks. And this is the game that's been going decade after decade. Be it stuff that they can't do it all at once because it's only a very small group. Remember Margaret Thatcher saying Victor Rothschild was a Soviet agent? Far out. It's just a tiny group of people. There's been huge resistance and still is. They're going to lose. They are absolutely going to lose. We'll have to pick up the pieces. That's what's happening now. So the US has gone in, it's freaking chaos, and what was meant to happen? So first you have George W. Bush. 2008, you have Obama. What does Obama do for 8 years? Obama is notorious as the first president to actively withdraw anyone and everything out of the world and withdraw them all back. Fancy that. Let's get up a book on that. What does this say? This is a book which I want to get. From 2018, Obama and the Emergence of a Multipolar World Order, Redefining US Foreign Policy. And we're going to get back to Obama and Musk. The book argues that critical international and domestic, I'm giving you gold here, giving you gold, that critical international and domestic crises such as the US war on Iraq and the Great Recession forced President Barack Obama, didn't force him, and Kissinger was also his number one. He was the president that Kissinger was most close to in the Democrats. Forced President Barack Obama to readjust US foreign policy after over 70 years of American hegemony and defending the global status quo. It examines the range of external pressures and challenges brought on by an increasingly multipolar international system, shifting domestic political forces, and limited foreign policy choices. The book provides an overview of the extent of foreign policy change and continuity in Obama's foreign policy toward Europe, Asia, and the Pacific and the Middle East. The book assesses domestic and international pressure points in the wake of the 2003 invasion of Iraq and the Great Recession that shaped and defined Obama's foreign policy references. Wow, you see where this is going? And it goes on to say how he pulled all the forces back. So remember that, how Barack Obama ruined NASA space exploration. Fancy that. Lord have mercy. What's that about, ladies and gentlemen? What's that about? Dismantling NASA, an Obama legacy. What Obama's and Elon Musk ties reveal about the future of America. How Barack Obama ruined NASA space exploration. The level of support Musk has shown for Obama, especially given their different political views, is truly admirable. Furthermore, Musk has been a strong supporter of Obama's plans to modernize America's transportation infrastructure, especially his support for the Hyperloop. Once high-speed train, that was a joke. To understand the task that the president and whoever he chooses as NASA's administration have before them, it is useful to look back on how profoundly and adroitly President Barack Obama crippled the space agency's efforts to send astronauts beyond low Earth orbit. When Obama came into office, he did what a number of other presidents have done to determine the goals of NASA. Blah, blah, blah. Wow. Guess who Barack Obama's other billionaire? How George Kaiser turned Oklahoma into his personal tax haven. Remember George Kaiser Foundation, Oklahoma, bringing in all the Unit 8200 people? Remember? Lord have mercy. Let's piece this all together. So there's Obama on the record destroying NASA. And then guess what he does? What does he do? Well, he hands it all to Elon Musk because NASA's incompetent, everybody. Those silly NASA people. We've got to privatize it so we can hand it all to Israel. What's he doing with Jared Kushner? Kissinger's freaking protege. Ladies and gentlemen, you got the head of NASA contracting handing billions to SpaceX. Then a few months later, she's got a job there. Nothing to see there. Oh, interesting pictures. Crikey. Crikey, Struth. Snap. Look at those teeth. I mean, seriously, you're beginning to see how this was flowing into Obama. Now they're paying 20 million, and then it was 60 to 70 million a pop to Russia to send astronauts into space. See how crippled? Silvermaster spiring, crippling NASA back in the 50s and 60s. Same networks, good old Pollard, and all the dozens and dozens of these freaking Soviet assets, all linked in with Israel. Now we have Unit 8200, Telpiot program. Then you have the Binational Industrial Research and Development Foundation and the Binational Science, all brought in by damn Kissinger, legislating that you have to give technology to Israel, which then is spread out through the Kissinger Rothchild network. You see how this went? What else happened in 2008 when Obama came in? This guy, remember Shadowgate? We all remember Shadowgate and General Jim Jones. 2008 it started. I remember it well. Nick Griffin, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. That's when it started in earnest. Obama withdrawing from the world slowly but surely, handing over the reins, building up Russia, building up China, pouring the money and high technology into China, getting ready for Elon Musk. Elon Musk would be a billionaire and like one of the biggest companies in the world, but for the pulling out of China. Thank you, Mattis and Pompeo and the Skull and Bones crew. You don't have to kiss them passionately. Just nod your head and be on your way. Doff your hat. We can pass in the corridor. General Jim Jones founded Denology. They start the program ostensibly after Assange in 2012, who won't mention Israel, but sure as hell loves Russia, magically makes his way from Hong Kong because the State Department spelt his name wrong, if you believe that bullshit. Kissinger and Associates Network got him through. Nothing to say about Israel, nothing to say about Russia. Fancy that. Ends up in Moscow. Julian Assange, long-time KGB asset. America bad, 2008. Good old Julian. Nick Griffin is told, listen, we'll pay you, Nick, to go after Islam and lay off Jewish bankers. Nick Griffin said, go F yourself. Whatever you think of Nick Griffin, he at least back then had some integrity and obviously was sincere. And I don't mind anyone who stands up for their beliefs, as long as they're not too outrageous, who are nationalists and want to stand up for their beliefs. And Nick Griffin has had some compassionate things to say about Islam. I don't know what he said lately. I have no idea. I haven't thought about him for years. But what happened? WikiLeaks comes along. What's the first thing they do? They release the mailing list of the British Nationalist Party. That's what they do. Who turns up a few years later? Stephen Yaxley Lennon, Tommy Robinson. See how they replace them? Just like they were replacing me with fucking Whitney Webb. Just like they replaced Bill Cooper with fucking Alex Jones. This is the game. Get rid of the organic, whatever you think of people, whether you think of me or Nick Griffin or anyone and their politics. Get rid of the sincere organic. Put your people in place. All right. Anything that you think is going to organically grow, get in and replace it. Hezbollah, Hamas, fund that. Same principle, same thing, different level, but same. It's the same. So you have Denology all happening in 2008. You have WikiLeaks all happening in 2008. City of London, Kissinger. And you've still got that little bitch crying. Hey, Julian Assange, when are you going to talk about Unit 8200 and Telpiot? I'm just saying, anytime soon? So you see 2008 with Obama. Now, 2016, SCL Group linked in with NATO and all sorts of Cambridge Analytica. Suddenly Trump's in. What was Trump's role? Right up there. Kissinger was there from day dot. Bannon met Kissinger in 2016. Bannon also met fucking GRU asset and son of a general, GRU general, Alexander Dugin in Rome. Bannon. You're mixing in some bad company. Look, I don't want to say trust the plan, but I believe the idiot just didn't know, just as we all didn't know. I actually will give Bannon that, apart from his drunkenness and his addiction to Adderall pills and all the rest of it. Gee, God, he's so frustrating. But Bannon does some brilliant stuff, exposing City of London, and I'm going to do a whole list of it. But geez, you just want to pull your hair out. And when Lee ambushed him on China and he said, Netanyahu, you've been rubbing up with China. That was real. He was clueless. These clowns are clueless. Lee, you are a legend. Mary Silver, a legend. You know who you're, Kevin. All of you people who've been going around quietly, you've changed the world. You have changed the fucking world. While these other whores getting hundreds, if not millions of dollars have done nothing. You have changed the world. And by God, with the day I fucking die, my Scorpio, Pluto, Moon, Virgo, conjunct Pluto in the 8th house power, I will hunt these people to the ends of the fucking earth. I fucking mean it. You think I'm joking. You think I'm fucking joking. All of you are on my fucking list. Just call me Laventia Beria. If you said that's one thing I'm doing, that's it. That's all I want to do. I'm going to hunt them, every last one of them down till they live in fucking fear. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to point out what you did. Hi, Brendan O'Connell reporting. Did you do this and this and this and this? And what did you forget that? How much money did you make? The lives of your kids are in danger. And these bastards, there's got to be consequences for fucking lying. Whether you lie outright or you lie by omission, they're liars. They're bought in to replace us. They're bought in to replace the organic reality, the grassroots. Whitney Webb was literally brought in to replace me. Literally. And I was being groomed by Opus fucking Day, Catholics in Kuala Lumpur, to hang out with consular staff and oil and gas execs. And I've got fucking Fred Smith rubbing up against me with his nephew Joseph Days. Fred Smith, FedEx, Skull and Bones, for crying out loud. And Gloria's calling me, Brendan, come out. We'll go out. We're going to go out to the wet deck, and we'll hang out with consular staff and oil and gas execs. And I said, do I have to get dressed up? She said, yes. And I don't know. Maybe I should have gone. I'd be in that luxury marble floored hotel at the Avery. Oh. If I'm so proud of myself. Sometimes I go, oh, fuck, I should have just taken it. You would not believe what I could have been doing, where I could have been living. I just can't do it. I couldn't live with my fucking self. Couldn't live with it. It's not even that they were trying to kill me or hurt me. They just, come on, Brandon, let's get some professionals in there. We got a limited hangout this. I mean, we got a $50 billion intelligence community that missed all this and they're a little embarrassed. That's the best case scenario. Or worse. So 2008, Assange moving into Snowden, America bad, America bad. I single-handedly dragged this subject out of the fucking nightmare, and Bill Binney in the background and a whole range. You don't think Bill Binney knows who I am? Of course he fucking does. I mean, it just blows my fucking mind, the lengths we have gone to and the stuff we have accomplished. Just ordinary people with sending links to each other. It's fucking incredible. All power to the internet. And because there are good people within the intelligence communities and state and federal authorities. These things are handled quietly, Brendan. At State Department and Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. There are good people, I promise you. That's why you've got to get up. They always want to isolate you, so you never speak to these people, you never interact with these people, you don't ring the Department of Homeland Security, you just stay online and jerk off with your friends, at best. You've got to engage, and that grassroots movement will swell. And it's happening now. And I'm telling you now, man, don't arrive late to the party. You're all marked. I know what you said. We've screenshotted so much of your stuff and stashed it. You're not just going to turn up and suddenly become the hero. It's not happening. So 2008 to 2016, Obama's done his work. They're getting ready now. What's going to happen now? They put in Elon Musk. They're transferring shit. They're getting ready to link the Eurasian trading bloc with China, transferring technology out of the US. They're getting ready to collapse economies. Trump comes in. One problem. Trump is got a hold of by Mattis and Pompeo. And Trump starts going after Lockheed. Never happened before in history. See, give Trump that. He's a fucking dickhead. But they got him and said, they're ripping off America. And Trump went, what? Costed me money, because Trump doesn't differentiate between America and himself because he's a narcissist. So when he's president, it's his money. So Trump goes to town. So give him credit. And I'm going to do a thing on what the good things that administration did. Even Peter Zion says that. And Trump goes in and blasts the shit out of Germany and NATO and says, pay your fucking Jews or else. Pun intended. Pay up. He goes in about gas. Germany, you're hanging out with this gas deal with Russia. He's effing Russia. He's killing off their Wagner mercenaries in Syria. He walks in What's Bibi doing with Vlad? Bibi's destroying Syria with ISIS, with his friends in Saudi. They're funding ISIS, and in comes the man to save the Arabs, Vladimir Putin. He's dropping dumb bombs and artillery all over and destroying whole Syrian cities, and 500,000 Syrians are dead. Who killed them? It wasn't fucking ISIS. It was Assad and fucking Vladimir Putin and Bibi. Trump walks in and says, I'm going to end ISIS. Oh, no, Mr. President. Yeah, very complicated. No, I'm ending ISIS. 3 weeks later, 6 weeks it took. Boom, end of ISIS. Then Trump says, and that administration, I'm not sitting in Afghanistan killing Afghanis and losing American soldiers to make it safe for China's Belt and Road. But before he pulls out, of course, Biden comes in, and what a freaking disaster that was. Trump went in there and said to the Taliban, you touch one of my soldiers, I'm going to kill everyone. I'm going to kill your family. Literally. Not a single attack on an American soldier for nearly 18 months. Amazing. So don't tell me that Trump's all bad. Is he a dickhead? Yes, I can't stand him. But nonetheless, I don't care. You do something good, I'm going to report it. Trump did that. What did Biden do? Fuck. How anyone in the military can vote for fucking Biden. Anyway, we got problems with Trump. Trust me. We're going to get to Trump and Elon Musk in a minute. So now Biden's in. What a disaster. Anyway, they still pull out. They left all the equipment there. Well, all that equipment, that was a smart move. Trump went, oh, there are morons. I left all the equipment. No, that was smart. Now the Taliban have got all that equipment. Guess what? China's got to deal with them. China's got to deal with them now. They're armed to the teeth, and China's terrified. They can't operate that. They can't keep the peace there. They have no capacity. It was a smart move to withdraw. That was the point. Trump wasn't meant to withdraw. You know, they had that big talk. Oh, sorry, he was meant to withdraw. But then they were going to hand it all over, and there was all new deals being done. Russia was stepping in. What? The multipolar world order was meant to begin. Peace was going to reign, and all this development would take place. That was moving into Trump, but it didn't happen. What happened was the opposite. Due to the work of you and I and all the people I was courted by, high-level intelligence officials, and you name it, they finally got in and have to think, shit, we're in trouble. Not only have we allowed this to happen, we're going to have to explain that one day. Let's not worry about that for now. Let's shut O'Connell up, and we will groom him. Let's get him hanging out with James McMahon and Joe Francis and the gang, and our Jesuit Prime Minister, Tony Abbott, which literally they were. They were working up. They're not bad people. I know, hard to believe. You notice that Abbott and Abbott and Tony Abbott, our former Jesuit Prime Minister, and Josh Frydenberg were inseparable. Frydenberg hangs with Chabad. Well, Frydenberg won't hang with Chabad anymore, and him and Abbott have had a huge falling out. Abbott didn't know. Tony Abbott is our favourite neocon Prime Minister. He was clueless. They didn't know. They were kissing my ass. Regardless. So all these good things started happening. You saw Pompeo come out and say, oh, I love Israel. Oh, Israel forever. Hey, you know what? You're not hanging out with China and Russia anymore. Pompeo was the kiss of death. It was beautiful. The kiss of death. It was like watching the smiling mafia go over. And everyone said, oh, look, he's praising. He praised Israel. Of course he's praising Israel. It's a geostrategic hub. It's got to stay exactly where it is. And America's going to run it as a protectorate. There's going to be some big apologies to the Arab population, rebuilding, and apologies like you would not believe. You got a lot of apologizing to do and explaining. You got a lot of splaining to do. Regardless. The correction is going to take time. And this is the fallout. But it was all meant to be. And that's why Musk was going to be huge when the Kissinger and Association, all that drug money. When the instability was starting and all the things that were happening, well, the money had to go somewhere. So they also had to build up Musk. So otherwise, freaking Apple and Microsoft and Amazon would be worth $15 trillion each. So they need to build these fake companies up. Put someone at the head, make them out to be geniuses, and watch all the drug money and all this other money, all the new tax havens in South Dakota, Nevada, and all the rest. America's saying, well, fuck that. You're not sending the Caribbean. Put it in the US. We'll control it, and we'll see who's putting their money in there. That's the game. That was the safe haven. That's why I laughed when everyone said, oh, the economy's gone down. The US dollar's finished. And so how can the US dollar be finished if the economies are collapsing? Guess where everyone puts their money? It's got to go somewhere. It's going to go to the US. How's the US dollar going to collapse? Pretty simple equation. For these freaking talking head clowns like Peter Schiff, morons, know nothing. $1 trillion military, yeah, China's going to take over. Right. So now we see the unfolding, and now we see the disaster that Trump has been, just like Hitler was for City of London. Adolf Hitler didn't do what he's told. His handler was Hermann Göring, right into the Hofjuden, into the European royal families, Hofjuden, the court Jews, intermarrying. all thinking they're related to King David, a bunch of inbred fools who are just killing prostitutes and doing coke and taking antidepressants and microdosing LSD because they're so effed in the head, suffering from depression and anxiety. And this is how the game has been rolling on. Hitler was brought up to handle the United States of Europe. He would be the bulwark against Stalin in North Asia, Mao in South Asia, and David Ben-Gurion, after Hitler had chased out the Jews down. No self-respecting Jew was going to Palestine out of Europe. Well, he was meant to chase them down, never touched a Jewish banker, but amazingly killed a lot of ordinary Jews. Amazing that, and they'll try it again, just like they did at that rave party. And then we're going to have the Bunting Cloverleaf map. And this is Rothschild setting up each section, whether it's a theocracy or a quasi-dictatorship or a pretend two-party democracy, pretending to be a republic. That's the Rothschild Central Bank, Federal Reserve, City of London system. And Hitler said, no, I'm going in, I'm going to take out the Soviets. And the thing was, what? That's not your job, Adolf. They lost control of Adolf. They built him up and they lost control. And he said to the British brothers, because he was a complete Anglophile, he loved the British. When his adjutant was worried about losing his security clearance in 1937 because he married an English girl, and it's a great interview where he went to the Fuhrer and he was so worried, I'm going to lose my security clearance. And he said, mein Fuhrer, I've married. And the Fuhrer said, oh, that's wonderful, wonderful. And he said, yeah, but it's to an English girl. And he said, his face lit up. And Hitler said, oh, Wonderberg, an English girl. The world needs an England. And he was ecstatically happy and he was in total shock. That's why Rudolf Hess, I mean, you know, we just take these things for granted. Rudolf Hess, Hitler's right-hand man, flies his Messerschmitt 110 in an incredible night flight, an incredible feat of navigation, flips the plane upside down and drops out and parachutes down into Scotland to a Scottish manor. Was that anything to do with the Jews of Scotland? I don't feel like getting that book up. Anything? Do you understand? So not that I'm comparing Trump to Hitler per se, but it's the same principles. They're not all powerful. That's why Margaret Thatcher refused to deny that Victor Rothschild was a Soviet angel, a Soviet agent, the fifth man out of the Cambridge Fire. They're not all powerful. And they have endless trouble. And there's a huge fight going on right now as this fallout from this multipolar world order. And that gets back into freaking Elon Musk. And I've got to play something. But with all that we know now about this system and how it's all collapsed with the end of the multipolar world order and the new version taking shape, but they're negotiating furiously. That's why BB, a week before he came, CrowdStrike brought down Microsoft products. And then BB comes to do deals. And you see him meet Trump and Trump was all over him. Oh, come in. BB, my friend. And Trump was confident and there was BB. And now you see Trump pulling in Elon Musk. It's making me sick. We've got to at least entertain the thought. I hate to say trust the plan. That these people have been recruited, if you will. And this is the new deal. BB's been told, we're not going to hang you from your gonads, but you're going to have to destroy. You do all the dirty work. You got to destroy Hezbollah. You got to destroy Hamas and all your Islamic terror network. You got to take it all out. When you finish doing all the dirty work, and we'll sit there and say, oh, peace deal now, peace deal. Oh, peace, please, peace. And we supply with all the weapons, do the dirty work. We will then step in and we're going to make you a protectorate. You're going to literally be run by us. That's the hope. That's the best case. I'm sorry. That's as good as it's going to get, as far as I can tell. And maybe they've got Elon Musk and that group on board. And now, you know, there are realities, there's political realities, but it's painful to watch and hanging with Chabad still. Chabad Lubavitch should literally be wiped from the face of the fucking earth there. I've said it. Just, I presume they're going to dump them all in Ukraine. That's literally going to be dumping around when they make Israel will be a secular state. That's going to happen over the next 10 years. But listen to this. It's like, oh, God, this is painful.
I'm going to appoint Elon Musk, who's a fantastic guy, to lead a government efficiency commission tasked with saving trillions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse, and driving down inflation and driving down costs. We have tremendous fat. I mean, just one example. When I came in, I was asked by Boeing to sign a contract for the purchase of a new Air Force One.
Let's bring Elon Musk, a genius now. Well, that wasn't what Donald Trump was saying not too long ago. Donald Trump called him a moron who would get on his knees and he's hopeless and nothing works and he just lives on subsidies. Now he's the great. You know, at some stage, Trump, you know, it's sickening to watch. People have got to just say enough, dude. We don't give a shit. Get rid of that fucking clown. Just nationalize it, whatever. Just put someone up, put someone else in charge, please. Anyway, do you understand that Tesla and SpaceX was meant to be a gigantic quasi-Department of Defense and private network, City of London run operation, sucking all that stuff out of the United States? That was the plan. They were going to build all that stuff in China. It was going to be a huge deal. Huge deal. And there would be Musk, the genius. Well, it's all off, and now he's falling apart and going broke. I don't know. I guess you'll have to decide how much is, just hanging out with people and shaking hands for fun, just to keep in touch with people. And I don't know, have you had enough of it yet? At some stage, this has got to end. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you understand how that came from that Silvermaster spying, well before that, going through into the Jonathan Pollards of the world, the idiocy of James Angleton and others, when Angleton and Tricky Dicky woke up to the Rockefellers, Nelson Rockefeller and the gang. Too late. Suddenly, they're all gone. That's what happens when you wake up. When you're of no use to anyone, Adolf. That's what happens. You're disposed of. And here we are today. Looks like Trump's probably going to win, as everyone's worked out. Kamala Harris is a complete moron. And Trump stopped whining how mean everyone is to him, and he's talking about the economy nonstop as you should. But geez, what a choice! 2 clowns. America, I do believe there's 360 million of you, and this is the best you can come up with, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand how this was roving? 2001 and the Bush and the Jewish emigre, German Jewish, allegedly Jewish emigre, Kissinger, moving into Odiginon plan. Primakov doctrine, multipolar world order. Then we go into Obama and that collapse. All the preparing for that 8 years, preparing, ready for Trump to come in and withdraw completely from the world. Economic collapse, economic turmoil, and then a reordering of that multipolar world order, sectioning off, and then again getting back to a Cold War scenario. But the whole time they'd still be transferring all this stuff, still be doing all these deals. Now it's all off. And this is the fallout that we're seeing now. And that's what fucking Elon Musk is, that piece of garbage. He was part of that plot. You see Obama destroying NASA. That's what they do. Obama is literally a Silvermaster spying. They all are. And so was Trump. But Trump, the moron, got Pompeo and the Skull and Bones boys got a hold of him. And here we are. This is the fallout. This is the cleanup. For us, it's interesting to watch, isn't it? I don't know if it's much fun in Gaza, in southern Lebanon, and a whole host of other places. But I'm done worrying about this stuff. The Arab world's had enough time. We did our best, Sufyan and others, and, they're in the grip. They can't fix this. It's up to us. It's up to us in the UK, Europe, the US, and Australia. Only we can fix this. If we free America, we free the world. I hope this has helped you understand just that Silvermaster going into the people like the Musks of the world and the people they prop up, just the same as Bill Gates and the coked up Palmers. You begin to understand the process that has now fallen apart in front of their eyes, and this massive renegotiating process that's going on because they're all so dirty. They got so much dirt on each other, and now they have to negotiate. If they didn't have to negotiate and America had a semblance of not a pus-ridden pieces of garbage, a pedophile Biden and the gang, a freaking highly sexually compromised Trump and the gang, then you would just see a cleanup take place, and Netanyahu would be dead along with his wife and a whole host of people. But instead of that, these are the negotiations of these scum. It's going to have to be a generational change, I'm sorry. But there's hope. Ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with the great F. Scott Fitzgerald and the great, the one and only Bill Cooper. Wish me luck on my next 2 days of travels. F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold 2 opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.